New story, take one. Oh my god.
One cannot imagine the heaven of domestic bliss of routine of being together. I imagine someone reading a short story I tried to publish once my memoirs. Perhaps you will have a go of it. My husband thinks I'm ridiculous, but he loves me. The cold late afternoon breeze slices through my grimy sweaty face and body. My hard day's work as a laborer at the brickyard is over for today. My prior job of working on an assembly line in a machine factory was even more grueling. The blowing whistle continues to set off a chain reaction of excitement, resurrecting dormant possibilities. The other dusty men go left once outside the rusty chain link fence to the pub. I go right, making my way to the nearby shop in the glowing sunset. I tell myself and the other men if they should ask me that I am going to pick up a pint of brandy. Once in front of the store, the flowing texture of the wooden plant stand arrests my perception. Then the lovely floral arrangement of assorted floral imprisons my perception in delicious aliveness of colors and beauty. I've become self-conscious of myself. I'm staring at the flowers too fixedly and too intensely. Already I broke my usual pattern of glancing in semi-indifference at them and then briskly walking to the store's main shelf to pick up my pint of brandy before going to the newspapers stand section of the store, to the cashier, then back to the sooty pavement, to my one-room flat. A young lady with a black blouse with a thin hood which covers her head yet allows her glistening long blonde hair flow freely. Effortlessly, spontaneously, dreamily we smile at each other in recognition in our enchantment with the flowers. As unconsciously we found mutual kinship under our mutual spell. We've always been the spinster type. I never had the nerve to approach a lady outside of the pub on a Friday or Saturday night, and even then I needed a few drinks under my belt before we get the nerve to even consider. And even then I would just retire, play darts, drink with the fellows, and wake up the next morning with a hangover. Now not only the words but the confidence pours out of me so naturally as never before. They seem to be a natural extension of my return smile at her, which came to me as effortlessly as an eye blink. No, yes, both. Even more, they came from my live enchantment with beauty, with this person's beauty, this woman's beauty, with this lovely being. She such as the flowers is fully blossomed beauty. Fully blossoms living beauty. Her external beauty, though so radiant and vast, only dimly reflected, I experience radiating intrinsically within her. I say, so lovely. She replies warmly, yes, very clearly audible. Then I thought she said, lovely in so many ways like you. No, I'm mistaken, that can't be. I say, I never seen you here before. She answers, I am here every day at the same time right after work from late autumn to early spring to pick up a pint to stay warm at night. Before my censor stifles me as it usually does, an unknown part of me replies without my consent, I prefer other ways to stay warm at night. She says, I agree there are. Where is this coming from? I don't have the courage or we to come up with something like that, but I will take it. Her warm inviting smile, void of any suspicions. I have not seen pure inviting humanity like that for a while. Since the war, since childhood ever. Someone by the newsstand says while reading the paper to the proprietor, we are in the thick of it now, war with Germany. Couldn't be avoided. She says it looks like I'm going back to the trenches, the Red Cross Nursing Corps for me. We both laugh. Then it comes out. She says I never want to go through that again, but we must do our duty. Ashamed also looking forward to a boring ordinary life. That will be nice. I say quiet home, nice fire, a boring life for me. I want to ask her what her favorite flower is, one favorite color is. Before I could get the words out, she asked me if she would like me to join her for a pint at the pub. I would never have gotten the courage to ask her. We make our way out the door while walking down the street towards the old pub. She says blue. I ask what? Blue is my favorite color and the blue morning glory is on my favorite flower. We stop at the entrance door to the pub and she looks at me while saying, I hope we never have to go through that again. War, but we are all into it again. What are they? Thought I reach for her and she steps into me. I hold her tightly, me too. I felt so safe in her arms, comfortable melting into her. In the pub my workmates pretend I'm not taking notice of me, but I know they are. No one seems to recognize her and she says I've never been here before but I always wanted to go here. You are my chance. I'm glad I took it. We start talking small talk about some random movies that we both like. Charlie Chaplin. What is it like for you after the war? She asked me. Usually I have a cover story. I was injured. I was in the hospital recovering from a bullet wound. Actually it was a flesh on my side but I made it worse as if it did internal organ damage justify the time I stayed there for so long. Germany, but with her I just felt it is that she would understand. I have no reason to know it but I knew she would. You can figure the things in the atmosphere. Some people without the warning signs who get from narcissist con artist people, they put on sophisticated inviting phronis. I said I really don't remember. I disassociated. The company physician was pretty progressive. He was in the British Royal Academy of Science and Medicine, interest in psychoanalysis, and it connected me to a psychoanalyst rock there who connected me to a physician. She was like that sounds so forgive me interesting sad and somehow feeling appreciate her honesty with me. I'm amazing that you're letting me the privileged ground. I am. I replied. I want to ask her about herself but I didn't want to play this echo game. But she said you might want to ask me something but I'll answer. The same thing happened to me with you after the war. I stayed in Vienna for a while, had a doctor's suggestion. I believe they call that shell shack. I lost my memory, my identity for a while. Somehow it came back in pieces tomorrow. I could see the tears welling up in her life. I'm so sorry. That's horrible war. I hope we never have to go through that again. I hold her tightly, me too. I felt so safe in her arms, comfortable melting into her. Did you ever notice that in key moments of your life, your depths, the very core of your being, of your mind, ask you the most impossible questions, prompting you to contemplate, knowing that it's asking you questions that have no answers, and at the same time wanting answers, knowing that the struggling for the impossible answer would somehow bring you closer? Perhaps this is simply a dismantling process of all of outdated useful solutions, a process of reevaluations of premises that you took as eternal unshakable pillars that hold up the very foundations of reality of your world of meaning. Why is it that you think that you know someone for years, decades, a lifetime together, you go through all sorts of trials, test hardships, situation 2 where intimacy will collide or explode, and still you don't know the person, know that you know what's living inside of you, yet you can meet somebody randomly in something that was alive and you as old as energy time itself other than the universe is alive and you associate always with dancing as if it's the most natural, that is if it's more natural than your own awareness of yourself. This is a routine. This instantly became an enchanting routine for us. For weeks, then months my soul and body burned with anticipate to seeing her after work. The dream steals of the day flowed effortlessly like a movie reel. I dreamed of her taking me to her place and us making love. I never thought I would be here again exchanging chocolate bonbons, intimacy, flowers. The strange thing about this is that I never dance, but I found myself dancing with her at the pub, at the park, by the Thames, in the streets. The city roads and high brick munition factory appearing apartment building seemed to light up in splendid technicolor surreal joy. Sherlock Holmes couldn't fathom this mystery. I don't take her to my place, she coaxes me to her place. How did she know? Anticipate my secret desires. How does she free me to act on them so fluently? No one seems to mind our public unconventional arrangement. Perhaps the war, the dignity of her manner. I love going to her place and I find myself revealing myself to her. Not only through our tender exchanges, love making, poetry reading and dancing along the myriad of other intimate ways we reveal ourselves from our secret citadel hiding places, tenderly excitedly celebrating life as I never thought imaginable. Every day she buys me a different color flower and flavor candy. I adore this role reversal. We share stories. One time I purchased her a beautiful dress. She buys me a beautiful suit. It electrifies me. I collide around around and pretending that I'm a movie star. She tells me one night that she has to go to war. Father called and I found that they will call her and not me. Must be my old war injuries, or maybe they need to nurse this morning soldiers for now. That I am almost glad she won, for the next time I find myself buried in darkness. I wake up in the hospital with no memory as to what happened. I will spare you all the details. I was thinking of having my love ride from their perspective, how they thought perhaps the nurse not gonna keep it from my perspective. I'm writing this years later, the kids later. Actually, this is what happened. I'll put the pieces together for you. Well, doctor, that's how I would like the story to end. That's my account of it. The doctor looked at me strangely, wondering what's, and Sherman comes in. He says let him read his story from the war to visit me. I was such a sweet thing, civilians. I have somehow know him. Some memories are coming from me as he tells the story. It comes to me my memory. The doctors tell me to take it slow. I'll try to relive it as best I can. He just got out of work from the shipyard in his way past a local pub and where usually goes to corner store. Where you meet this most enchanting woman. She tells him that she used to work at a flower shop and now she works at a candy store, but she appreciates the floor arrangements in this place. Now from my perspective at the garment district, I'm actually designing some clothes now. The seamstress saw some of my designs, so I go to the store to celebrate her. Used to sell flowers. In there I see this most for a long time, out with some sadness in his eyes. I hope you make small talk with me, for which he does. He tells me we talk about flowers intimacy, and I'm glad he has the nerve to ask me to go to the pub. I told her my favorite colors and my work experience, how my hospital was found sites in the war, and after the war 13 other when I stayed in Vienna for a while to recover for a long time, and I was going to marry dies in the war, and Spencer rid of almost all of my family, brothers and sisters, everyone. No one was left. Family crisis left me alone. Bankruptcy, bad finances. Father had to fight a country. Touch cafe creditors to Australia. As mother went with. Finally he buys me dresses and I get to show them off my fashion. He knows I appreciate fashion, and somehow how are you could afford the high-end stuff. It's lovely wearing it. They could go on forever, but the war, they start calling all them out, and he goes, where do I go from here? The memories company for HUCHERR. This be the switch is reversal. Yes, after the war I stayed in Germany, and there as one of the first British soldiers to get a such sex change was quite successful. The drama retreat with my old memories of shame and guilt, the pain, the confusion, the drama came back and forth. I guess the switch is always there. Will you accept me? Dizzy, and he does the work. Experience shattered our preconceptions and revealed Hilda 2 gets to us. We know that we're ahead of our times with future generations. This is what the role would be outside of war for peace, of knowing, of loving. Discretion of the doctors kept it all a secret trauma, and all of that on the ground story, not like Jordan.